Good morning, good evening, happy Sylvester, happy New Year, salam alaikum, and shalom. My name's Wayne Firestone. I'm the Executive Director of the America-Israel Friendship League. I am thrilled to be with you to start 2021 with a topic that is hopeful, that is exciting. And you could see by all the open windows on your screen of our panelists today, we have people from around the world who are doing amazing things that you're going to learn about today in getting to know Palestinian high-tech. Nobody else could have put together such a robust panel like this from around the world other than our colleague, Dr. Yossi Vardi, the recent recipient of the Partners for Democracy Award from the America-Israel Friendship League, and indeed a board member of America-Israel Friendship League in Israel. Yossi, tell us about today's program. This is really exciting.
Wayne, thank you very much. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. On the chat, you can see the different locations from where we have our audience. I'm delighted to see that so many people are interested in one of the best constructive and positive stories of the Middle East, which is a ray of hope in a very convoluted area, and this is the young generation of Palestinians who are engaged in high-tech and collaborating with companies in Europe, in America, in the United States, and in the region. Before we go to our very loaded program, I would like to thank the American-Israel Friendship League for offering their platform, and to thank Wayne Firestone, who you just met, Jonathan Barsadeh, the president, Giovanni, who have put this whole event together, Ruby Shamir, my very old friend who is the executive director in Israel, and Dan Gillerman, the chairman in Israel, who told me that if I'm not mentioning him, he will never invite me again. In our speakers, we have 4 Americans, 4 Palestinians, 4 Israelis, and 2 Europeans. And without further ado, I don't know exactly what does it mean, but I know that context-wise it fits into this place. Without further ado, I would like to invite Miroslav Dusek from the World Economic Forum, under his hospice, some of the activities you are going to learn about this evening are running. So, Mirek, the podium is yours.
Thank you, Yossi. Hello from Geneva. And thank you to America-Israel Friendship League for having me, and to be honest, mainly for really hosting this really important discussion. As you said, it's a ray of hope. I think why I'm here and why we keep working on this at the World Economic Forum is because supporting Palestinian high-tech is, of course, important for the Palestinians, but it's also important for Israelis, it's important for the international community, and it's important for peace, in our humble opinion here in Geneva. So that's why we're in it. And as you said, Yossi, I represent the World Economic Forum. We're an international organization that connects leaders from the private sector and the public sector and civil society for over 50 years now around the world. And we're heavily engaged, of course, in the Middle East as well. Our footprint with Israeli and Palestinian leaders overall is roughly 30 years. And I wanted to just first talk about that a little bit, because there you were part of it, Yossi, but the opening around the Oslo Accords created obviously a huge opening also on the business side. And so, if you will, the first entrepreneurial dawn was really then, when a lot of the people that are now heading very important businesses in the Palestinian ecosystem are people that some of them came back and established businesses then, and we were part of it a little bit because we did a big conference in Casablanca where Yossi was with many others. This was the first opportunity for Israeli business leaders to connect with Palestinian Arab business leaders. Obviously, since then, a lot has happened. Politics has happened, etc., etc. But if I fast forward, we in 2012, again with Yossi and some other people, established a really very practical group of people on the business side, Palestinian business leaders and Israel business leaders, called Breaking the Impasse. And obviously, again, our motivation is that we think this is so important to ultimately bring peace to this troubled region overall, but we're not naive. And so what we really focused on with this group is some also practical things that can be done as a foundation, as an economic and social foundation. There we're still at it since 2012, but I have to say that we're still going very strong, and we have a very intensive collaboration on a number of issues that are crucial to the Palestinian economy, again as a key building block for the future. But on high tech, and why I'm excited to also talk about that is that I have, as the director for the Middle East at my organization, I have been heavily involved in the startup ecosystem in the Arab world overall, and we've held 2 competitions over the past 5 years around 100 startups. And I have to say, we did that with major VCs in the Arab world, and it was an eye-opener for me because I discovered how many Palestinian entrepreneurs are actually highly competitive in the Arab world overall. So a number of them were selected, but also how many women are involved. So disproportionate number of female founders are to be found in the Palestinian ecosystem, and also how many Palestinian talent is actually driving also startups elsewhere in the region, maybe in the GCC. So overall, this I think is yet another generation and yet another key time to focus on this important segment in the Palestinian economy. Thanks for having me back. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Mirek is Vice President and member of the Management Board of the World Economic Forum. Thank you, Mirek. Before we go to our next part, I would like to draw your attention that you have the email addresses of all the panelists in your chat box. In the chat box of the Zoom, you have the email. And those of you who will be interested to pursue with our Palestinian colleagues opportunity to collaborate in software development or consumption, please don't hesitate and email them, or email Avi, or email the IAFL, and your inquiries will be delivered to the right people. I would like now to ask Hussam Barkabi and Amer Abu Shama to take the lead. I must tell you that Hussam showed us some testimonials of his customers, and it's really, you are going to have a big surprise. Hussam, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Yossi. Greetings to everyone from Cincinnati, Ohio. I'd like today to present ITG and our operation in Palestine. ITG is a US-based corporation with several development centers around the world. One of our development centers is actually in Palestine. What you see here on the screen is a photo of our development center. It's a multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art facility that allows us to service clients mostly in the United States, but we do have some local clients and then many clients in Israel as well. The photo that you see here is one project team, just showing you this to give you an idea of the size of and complexity of the work that we do. So this is just one project team. Our objective in Palestine was to provide sustainable employment by offering differentiated products. And we took 2 paths to actually achieve our goal. One of them is by focusing on digital commerce. And to explain what we do in digital commerce and how we offer our differentiated products, I'd like to introduce Amer Abu Shama. Amer Abu Shama is a Palestinian who has joined ITG Palestine 10 years ago. He is now a world-renowned expert in digital commerce, and he will talk to us about our work in this differentiated service. Amer, please go ahead.
Of course, thank you very much, Dr. Hussam. So evening, y'all. Again, my name is Amir Abu Shamma. I'm the digital commerce practice lead of ITG Software Incorporation. I'm actually working from Nablus office. I'm also a Salesforce certified B2C technical architect. I have been working in this field for the past 10 years with Hussam. I'm responsible for everything ITG produces related to digital commerce, either if it is products or services. With the digital commerce practice, and specifically with our Palestinian ITG software engineers, we work with some of the most demanding retailers in the world in both B2C and B2B, as you can see in Hussam's screen. We work with multi-billion-dollar companies like Cornerstone Brands, Beals Florida, Lancome, L'Oreal, and many, many others of well-known brands worldwide. We actually work for some of these brands for more than 15 years. So we have established very well relationship with these clients and these well-known brands, A-class brands worldwide. And what makes actually these well-known brands come to us is the quality of the service our Palestinian ITG software engineers provide to our clients. And we actually work on the most, or let's say the highest technologies available out there related to digital commerce. That includes Salesforce Commerce Cloud, Hypers, Magento, HCL, as known as WebSphere Commerce, OpenCart, CS Cart, Shopify, WooCommerce, and many, many other platforms. We have been very successful in providing differentiated service for the past 20 years. With the 20 years of experience, our Palestinian ITG software engineers have built up a portfolio that puts ITG on the digital commerce map worldwide. That's what we actually do in the digital commerce. Thank you very much for listening. I will hand it back to Dr. Hussam Barqawi, who will tell us more about what
Amir, one quick question, if I may. Price-wise, how competitive you are? Cost-wise?
We are very competitive cost-wise. We actually offer our clients with a very competitive price. But what actually differentiates us, UC, is the quality of the service we provide. And we compete with on the price as well. But the quality and the service we provide is actually the main factor of our success factor.
Okay, thank you very much, Amir. Let me just say one final word about digital commerce. It is actually not hyperbole, but if you talk to the culture, if you talk to the people in any one of those brands and many others around the world, you will get the story very quickly that the Palestinian software engineers are among the best in the world at what they do in terms of digital commerce. The next differentiated service I'd like to talk about is what we did in 2017, recognizing that artificial intelligence is actually one of the technologies that will dominate the world for the next 10 years or so. So in 2017, we created a company called Reckoness.com. We self-funded the company to the tune of about $2 million. I'm very happy to say that Reckoness today does great work in artificial intelligence, specifically in computer vision, machine learning, and big data analysis, plus other technologies. We have several clients around the world. Our technology is being used in multiple products around the world, and we are definitely starting on an incredible success story, and then having now Palestinian ITG Reconnect software engineers recognized as doing excellent quality work in that in this nascent field, which will definitely, the technology of which will definitely dominate for the next 10 years or so. What I'd like to do right now is have you watch two videos. One of them is a testimonial from Burlington, which is a multi-billion dollar US retailer, from John Shacklet. He will speak to our work on digital commerce plus other technologies. And then the second video I'd like to share with you is one from Dr. Ariel Kegel, who is a principal at ModCon Systems. We do artificial intelligence work for this company. In fact, our work is actually now in 1 or 2 products that this company sells worldwide. So I'd like to share with you these 2 videos. So Giovanni, if you can go ahead, please, and show these, that would be great.
Hey everyone, my name is John Shacklet. I'm an associate at Burlington Stores, the national off-price retailer. I'm responsible for managing the BI team, mobile development group, and the corporate website teams within the IT department. Burlington Stores is a US-based Fortune 500 company that's an off-price retailer focused on delivering in-season, fashion-focused merchandise at a great value at up to 60% off other retailers' prices every day. We currently have 769 stores with 40,000 plus employees and $7.3 billion in net sales at close of fiscal 2019. Given my role at Burlington, I've been working closely with ITG's US and Palestine teams for the past couple of years on several projects, and I'm pleased to share that they've delivered and met our expectations. Coming into this relationship with ITG, I had prior work experience with other development companies, so it's important for me to ensure that whomever we work with proves the value that they bring to the business needs prior to engaging in any projects. That said, ITG came prepared and were ready and willing to go through this process with us and show how they could be an asset to our future PWA project. For ITG's assignment, they provided me and the team at Burlington with a detailed plan and executed the deliverable on time, on budget, and provided a quality PWA solution that was a perfect fit for our very unique business challenges. They really dug in and uncovered aspects of our existing mobile solution. Additionally, there were even a couple of things they uncovered that we may have overlooked or forgotten about from our past. I think it goes without saying that all projects have challenges, unknowns, unexpected plot twists, whatever you want to call them. ITG was always very transparent with the challenges they faced during the development of the project and engaged us as early as possible to help resolve any issues along the way so that they would always fully align their proposed solutions to our business needs. One of the things that really stood out to me with this group is their ability to take ownership of their work, no matter what the subject was. In my prior experiences, there were several groups that would naturally go on the defensive immediately versus just working together to solve a challenge or an issue at hand, whether it was a misunderstanding, bad business decision, unclear requirement, or just a simple mistake. With ITG, they always took ownership and prioritized the answer to the solution rather than arguing over who was to blame. This is probably one of the most refreshing aspects of this relationship, as issues are always going to present challenges. It is how you deal with these challenges that dictate the success of the project. Needless to say, ITG has proven themselves as a trustworthy partner that has shown a great understanding of best practices, compliance and security concerns, and have been a very valuable resource for us in many ways. We now have several successful projects under our belts together, and I look for any opportunity to bring them into anything new that meets the services they deliver. I really see them as an extension of my team, considering I find myself talking to them nearly as much as I do the teams I manage within Burlington. It has been a pleasurable experience, and I look forward to the future as we grow together. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Ariel Kegel and I'm a R&D manager at ModCon Systems. ModCon Systems specialized in development and manufacturing of process analyzers to be used for industrial control and optimization. As a part of our development activity, there are 2 new products we are working on in parallel, and the ITG Recognise supporting us with their development. One of the products related to supporting software for our newly developed equipment for petroleum industry, and the second product related to vital sign detection based on computer vision using artificial intelligence modeling. I would like to recommend ITG Recognise engineers from office which is located in Palestine. We enjoy working with them, and their deliveries are actually beyond our expectation. They have state-of-the-art knowledge in software development, computer vision, and related applications for commercial products. We are very pleased with ITG Recognise Palestinian engineers, and we hope to continue working with them in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, and back to you, Yossi.
Thank you, Hussam, very much. You can be very proud of your men and women who are working and able to get such high accolades from your customers.
Thank you.
It's been very nice. We are now moving to two pillars of the IT industry in the United States. The first one is Anwar Awad, who just left Intel on Monday, being an executive of Intel for a number of years in high positions. And the second one is David Tenenhaus, that his CV is too long to mention because it will take the whole session, but he really started with DARPA in the 70s and fulfilled major CTO responsibilities in every large high-tech companies, including Amazon and IBM and many others. So I throw the two of you to the podium and you should decide how you want to use your 13 minutes which you have. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Yossi. Good morning. Hello, everybody. This is Anwar Awad. I would like to start, and me and David agreed that we will jointly address this in series, me, and then he's gonna cover after me. I don't know, is somebody gonna share my slides or am I sharing my slides?
By the way, they are, of course, going to provide you with the point of view of the US industry, how they see what's going on in Palestine. The two of them are very familiar with the lay of the land. Okay,
so am I sharing my slides, Yossi? Or,
This we have to ask Giovanni. I don't have any idea, you know, I'm just talking head.
Okay, I am going to share. Hopefully everybody sees.
Fast because we have 13 minutes.
Okay. Can you see my slides? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a perspective of an external perspective of how you look at it from externally from the US. The first question, if somebody's an executive sitting down in Silicon Valley or somewhere in Europe and says, what is it, you know, does it make sense to do anything in Palestine? And where is Palestine? And not only it's probably new to many people, but if you look at it geographically, it's small next to Israel, which is very famous with all the, you know, things that are happening in the news and the stereotypical stuff that comes out in the media. This is this same question that we had at Synopsys in 2004 about Armenia. And literally at that time, Armenia was coming out of the Soviet Union, not much is happening. And we at Synopsys at that time, with actually personally involved with that, it created a real differentiating advantage for Synopsys in the IP industry that's currently still lasting till today. So the first impression is usually sometimes is misleading to many people. I'm gonna talk to you about a real experience that we had with the Palestinian ecosystem since I joined Intel in 2015. We actually at Intel adopted a systematic and methodical approach. And we had, I want to say that by now, maybe if you asked me about 4 years ago, I was myself very skeptical. I'm Palestinian, I grew up there too, and I know a lot of people, but I was very skeptical then. Now, afterwards, I must say, and I can say comfortably now that we had a great success, and we had it in two areas, is verification and layout. And it's in the semiconductor design areas. And those two areas, verifications, you can say there was an established skills and ecosystem in there that Mellanox had started with various companies over there. But we found it to be not as sophisticated. But we worked with the teams and we actually gave them challenging projects after 3 years that they delivered to it at the same par as anybody else who works for the team at Intel Israel, whether it's in Jerusalem or Haifa or other locations worldwide. Layout is an extremely good example, and an example of there was non-existing skills. We had people, they had the baseline education, and nobody actually knew or has done a layout of a circuit before. And we said, let's try this one. It's a brand new skill that did not exist in the whole ecosystem. We took a team, we trained them for 6 months. After 6 months of training, we gave them a project. The leader and the director of the team, the layout team, and who manages layout worldwide for my team is about 600 people worldwide, including contractors. He said, these guys, after 6 months, they're as good or better some of the people we had working for us for many years. And I'll tell you why for the next slide, some of the key factors that you would see in the Palestinian ecosystem. If we go there, the engineers, and they're highly motivated. They want things. They're very hungry to get some challenging work, some high-tech work, something that's not really existing over there, because the Palestinian territories hasn't been participating in the development of all the semiconductors or the total things, except what Hussam has mentioned before. It's coming up and it's being created, but hasn't been in the historically in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Education system is very strong. It's been known. You can look at it since 1900. The education system has been always strong over there. The teams is very versatile. They're very responsive, highly committed. You'll find a lot of sophisticated people with leadership. When I say that, it means that as an executive, anybody else from an international company who talks to people there, they get it. You don't have to explain to them. Communication is very easy, very smooth. They listen to you, they talk, they respond. And then, most important of all, ethical. And ethical is moreover not just the ecosystems. There are laws and rules in Palestine as much as you see in the news. It's well-run, judicial system over there, but also the team is highly committed. People will put everything they can do to make things successful for the company they're working for. So with all these characteristics, and I know that you can say this as at many places, but you will see these are very prevalent in the Palestinian ecosystem. The recipe for success, now I just want to warn you a little bit that you cannot just go there and give them a most sophisticated projects and tell them, hey, sink or swim. You have to have a champion to drive the engagement. You have to define
You have to accelerate, otherwise David will be left with no time.
Okay. Scope of management, but define a skill and give them a project to try it. Just to summarize it, I think in Palestine is going to could be a competitive edge for many people. You can see what Hussam has mentioned, that it has become in the e-commerce domain for many people, and can be for your projects or for whatever activities you're looking for, become a competitive edge, and they do deserve a chance. Thank you. This is my last.
David, what do you see in Palestine?
Well, I'm really excited to, first off, USC, join you and AFL today. About 15 months ago, I had the opportunity to participate in the first ICEP, the first international conference on entrepreneurship in Palestine. That was in Bethlehem. The photo here is how I looked before. This is now how I look, with Palestinian High-Tech. See, my hair has just, expanded, full of energy. Two key messages I want to share. One is to encourage people to want to get involved and really want to help make this happen, to think in terms of Palestinian high-tech, not just high-tech in Palestine. And here are two key things I mean by that. One is that there's great opportunities to leverage the Palestinian diaspora. There's many folks in this call know and work with Palestinians in the US who they can partner with. And I think that that's like just a tremendous opportunity to provide the bridge if you're trying to figure out how to do this outsourcing or other activities. The other is to realize that if you're a multinational company or involved, even a startup that wants to be multinational, Palestine can be your bridge between the English and the Arabic speaking worlds. And this can be a really important differentiator.
Another point I want to make is that COVID's acceleration of digital transformation is just an enormous opportunity. It's forever changing where people work, which means it's easier than ever to be an employee or a supplier to the largest companies in the world. So this creates, I think, huge opportunities for our Palestinian colleagues. So to be honest, VMware and I are still in the exploratory phase of our journey. But I want to share my perspectives because I've been involved, as Yossi said, in helping to create high-tech ecosystems elsewhere in India and Bulgaria, other places, and kind of synthesize that historical perspective of what I've learned about Palestinian high-tech. And that's not just from visits to the Geo, but as I indicated, it's kind of from colleagues in the US. And I especially want to make a shout out to the people here. There's a group here called the Silicon Valley Palestine Working Group. People like Anwar involved, Adil Kalam, Ileana Montek, Don Loeb, and others. So there's also this ecosystem overseas helping to build things. So in terms of observations about the ecosystem in Palestine, a tech ecosystem needs great people. Anwar indicated the education system. Something that's going on is not just do they have a good education system, but there are efforts like Code for Palestine to raise the bar in multiple ways. They're attracting top Palestinian high school students into the computer science field. So we get the top people into the field right back at high school. And then through their university education, they're supplementing that education, so they don't just get the CS education, but they're getting extra opportunities to gain expertise and experience in what it takes to be a real kind of professional developer and coder. So they come out sort of with this extra. And now there's even newer activities. One is an activity called Manara, to Y Combinator effort, to raise the bar even further with training and interview prep and actually placement activities in places like Google and Amazon and elsewhere. So these are kind of good examples, right, of the combination of the diaspora and the ability to people work remotely and the great ecosystem that's already there. I want to also give a shout out to another aspect of the ecosystem. A tech ecosystem needs institutional infrastructure. When we were kind of doing the internet revolution, this is actually something that was a problem for us. The banks and the telecoms, they were the guys that needed to be disrupted. Something really unique in Palestine is folks like the Bank of Palestine and Paltel, the telecom company, are actually hugely dedicated in acting with creativity to help grow the sector. So there's real sort of support within the ecosystem, not just government support, but true infrastructure support. The bank is using technology to create their own offerings like PalPay. They're funding VCs like Ibtikar to help support startups. They're contributing to a Techstars program being planned for the region. And Paltel is also a huge change agent involved in Code for Palestine, which I mentioned. So that's important. Now that's the foundation. With that foundation, you want to, what do you build, right? Should it be about startups, about outsourcing, about dev centers for multinationals? It's the Middle East, so why should we expect agreement? My experience actually is that you need to combine these three activities and create a virtuous spiral. Outsourcing and dev centers.
Unfortunately, we have to wrap up.
Okay, so I just want to support Anwar's comments about differentiation then, Yossi. Really important to provide differentiation, to find a specific thing if you want to get involved that, an activity, it doesn't have to be glamorous, that you can outsource, that can allow that outsourcer to develop real expertise. And then that can lead to startups, it can lead to multinational dev centers and all sorts of other good things. If people want to get involved and participate, there's lots of ways. If you're in an operating role in a company, you can be a champion for outsourcing or dev centers. You can even get started. Yadin's got a program for interns. You can get started just with a single intern. And then there's lots of opportunities to participate as mentors to startups and individuals. And finally, please plan to attend the next ICEP conference. I'm guessing it's going to be in Bethlehem next fall. It's going to be a great opportunity.
Thank you very much, David. And unfortunately, we have to go ahead. And now we have one of the highlights of this meeting. We have two ladies. One in the West Bank, one in Gaza. The two of them are involved in the high-tech. I would like to introduce to you Rowan Alawi, which is working in a high-tech, in a high-tech company, and Basma Ali, who runs her own company. What you see now, it's not Rowan, it's still David. So Rowan and Basma, please.
Thank you so much, Yossi. Thank you so much, and thank you all for listening. I'm really sorry for not being able to open my webcam due to some technical issues. So I'm Rowan Alawi from Palestine, CEO and co-founder for a tech startup called Amal. And our story is going to be like a bit different. We're going to like the entrepreneur side of the story. And a little bit about my background. I'm a mechatronics engineer by education, a tech geek by practice and by passion. And I would say that I started my journey at a tech startup called Freightos here in Palestine. And working there for a few years, I had to jump from one position to another, from being a quality assurance engineer to being a project manager. And over working there, I had to go to Jerusalem like twice a week. And over there, I noticed something called parking lots. I don't know if you have seen them, but workers, construction workers specifically, they sit there for hours waiting for someone to pick them up. And coming from the construction industry as a family business, I was like, you know what? It's time to disrupt this industry. It sounds like there's a problem. So at that time, I resigned from my job along with my own CTO, and we were like, it's time to digitalize the construction industry here within the MENA region. And we started as a marketplace. We did a pilot here in Palestine. We had an amazing traction within a few months. We had more than 3,000 construction workers signing up, for more than 40 contractors. We were able to provide them with more than 250 jobs, and they were able to generate more than $300,000 within a few months. And that was amazing. We wanted to replicate this within other areas here in the region, but COVID hit. And when COVID hit, we started looking for other alternatives to be able to generate revenues. And then we made the hard decision to pivot our business into a SaaS solution. So right now we are a SaaS solution B2B to construction companies. We provide HR and operation management to optimize the manpower on the site, to reduce the human error, and the construction contractors can make data-driven decisions. And within this short period from August 2019 up to now, we were able to be selected by Expo among 4,000 startups as the top 20 startups globally, from Entrepreneurship World Cup as the top 25 startups globally. That was also interesting for us. And right now we are trying to crack the Gulf construction market. And that's our story. Thank you.
Rowan, thank you very much. And we will hear maybe another word about Rowan from Yadin later in the program. And now I would like to invite Basma to share with us her very unique and inspiring story. As I told you. Okay, go ahead, Basma.
Thank you, Yossi. It's a pleasure to be invited to the event. This is Basma Ali. I'm a software engineer and an entrepreneur. I'm running an outsourcing company, an impact business called G Gateway for ICT outsourcing. Next, please. We are currently founded in 2015 by a group of women entrepreneurs. I am one of them. And we founded an impact business model for IT outsourcing in Gaza and extended to West Bank in 2021. We are aiming to positively impacting and transforming lives, as you all are trying to do, by creating employment to Palestinian youth. We joined the emerging trend of IT outsourcing into MENA region. We have a greater profile, business profile, including UN's regional and US-based clients. We are financially auditing since establishment, and we have a solid, upgraded IT infrastructure and talented youth. Next, please. If you go to next slide, please. What G-Gateway is offering, we offer a variety of services, including software engineering, design verification, content management, data management. We also have our learning arm and HR and out-placement services. So far, we have outreached more than 4,000 youth in Palestine. We have created 1,100 job opportunities. 1,000 of them are short-term job opportunities, like 6 months and less, and 150 is for more than 1 year. Next slide. So what G-Gateway is basically offering through these IT outsourcing services, we have a talent, or how we operate. We have talent acquisition and management department where people can have access to a pool of talented youth in different IT segments, including web and mobile application development in different languages. And also we proactively assess IT demands of our potential clients and try to qualify people to our sales pipeline. Also, we have a relationship management access, so we have the ability to manage multiple services in the same time with a great business operation team structure and quality assurance department. We are also scalable. We have a solid IT infrastructure and a space that fits up to 110 IT youth. Our value proposition is like easy access to talent, lower cost saving in Palestine, especially from Gaza. And also we have a project management capability, up-to-date technologies in certain services. And we are aiming to diversify our client base. Also, we help our clients to reduce their hiring and training costs and share the operational risk, and also improve the public image by collaborating with the impact business. Next, please. We go. So these are a variety of our clients and the impact investors. Beside our business profile with multiple international and UN businesses, we have also impact investors from around the world, including World Bank Group and USAID. Also, our clients, we have Tin Time from Jordan, we have DDD from US, we have UN Women. So this is like a presentation for our clients and the investors. We can go to the next slide. One of some of the case studies for our work that has a scale is developing the first waste management information system for International Bank for Construction and Development for Palestinian territory, doing the poverty survey automation system for its both web and mobile application for UN regional office in fields. Also doing data management and front-end programming services for US-based company, DDD, that has subcontracted, where G-Gateway subcontracted to Amazon Kendall. If we go to the next, so G-Gateway is relevantly new to the market. We are aiming to diversify and to expand our client base by collaboration with or with support from World Bank and from our investors. So we are willing to, in this meeting, I'm reaching out to present G-Gateway and hopefully to get the right connection and networking to bring more business to Palestine, including Gaza, in the image. And we have the ready investment in any needed IT infrastructure or talents qualification in order to satisfy clients' need or a client's roadmap for talents. If we can go to the next.
Basma,
this is our.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm wrapping up. This is our team. We can. This is myself and Islam, Muhammad, and Rose. Those are the management team in my company, and we can go to the next, please. If we can go to the next slide. This is some of our featuring. Thank you very much. And just would like to say that our current size is 55 employees, and we are expanding and looking for work to network with all of you. Thank you very much.
Basma, you must hear the amazing applause that now all our audience is giving you. Very quick 2 questions. 1, how many women you have in your company? And 2, where did you study?
How many women? We are around 25 women now in the company, and the total number is 55 employees. And the core team is 16, but we are expanding based on the sizes of projects we get. The biggest size we got to is 150. We started as initiative with a small case or mission for UN in order to prove that the impact business operation model can be sustainable, and Gaza graduates with reasonable training, investment in training, they can deliver outsourcing services.
Where did you get all these capabilities and knowledge?
Myself, I graduated from US, and then we got this technical knowledge, etc., happening from our youth in Gaza. Many of them are well qualified and internationally certified from international companies. Sorry.
So you studied in the US and you returned to Gaza?
Yes, I did my master's degree and my undergraduate studies in software engineering from Montana State University in US. And I worked for international development.
It's a privilege to host you. Unfortunately, we have to move to our next module. And now we are going to see the perspective from Europe and hear about what the European customers think about the Palestinian High-Tech. I would like to invite to the podium Frank Mueller and Jamil Isayed. I hope I pronounce your name right. Frank, go ahead. Frank.
So, yes, I'm here. Giovanni, could you start the movie first? Giovanni, are you there?
Giovanni?
Hello, Giovanni. Okay, then Jamil, if you start with the presentation, then please.
Partner, den man sehr einfach weiterempfehlen kann, definitiv.
Wichtig ist, dass man drüber reden kann, dass man Themen offen ansprechen kann und dass man immer das Gefühl hat, man wird ernst genommen.
Axos ist für mich eine Firma mit großem sozialen Engagement.
Persönlich, auf jeden Fall, professionell und kundenorientiert. Axos ist fair, offen und innovativ. Menschlich, face-to-face, unkompliziert.
Für uns ist es einfach wichtig, dass wir einen Partner haben, der erreichbar ist, wo wir einen Ansprechpartner haben und nicht bei irgendeiner Hotline landen. Das von Anfang an eigentlich war es das, was wir gesagt haben, so jemand brauchen wir.
Ja, Axos hat uns sehr gut zugehört, hat verstanden, welche Anforderungen wir haben, hat die sehr gut bedient und deshalb uns letztendlich überzeugt.
Zum einen sind wir ein Wirtschaftsunternehmen, ja, also muss es wirtschaftlich Sinn machen. Sinnvoll war es für uns, diese klassisch orientalische Kultur mit dieser Gastfreundschaft und das auf Menschen zuzugehen, zu verbinden mit unserer klassische deutsche Tugenden, Qualitätsbewusstsein und Prozesstreue.
Und es macht auch sehr viel Spaß, mit unterschiedlichen Menschen und Kulturen zusammenzuarbeiten. Ist, glaube ich, auch eine Sache, die man nicht oft findet.
Axos ist für mich Zielstrebigkeit, Dynamik, Innovation, ich sag mal Lebensfreude auch.
The atmosphere is definitely nice. It's based on human interaction. You can just be who you are and have fun at work.
Jeder Tag ist ein Highlight, weil jeder Tag anders ist.
What we're doing in our free time with Axos colleagues is always going out for food because we all love food.
Was das Team auszeichnet, ist einfach das tiefe Vertrauen ineinander, dass eigentlich egal was passiert, dass man sich auf den anderen verlassen kann und dass wir alle unser Bestes geben.
Es geht immer darum, den Nutzen in den Vordergrund zu stellen. Von dem her war ich von der ersten Minute an überzeugt, dass Axos eine Erfolgsstory wird. Im Rahmen der Digitalisierung, wir leben im Digitalisierungszeitalter, wird IT weiter ein großes Wachstumsfeld sein. Und ich denke, dass die Axos AG an diesem Wachstum überproportional beteiligt sein wird.
So yeah, thank you, Yossi. Yeah. So we, as Axos, yeah, I'm CEO and founder of Axos, and we are in business since 2009, 11 years now, reaching our 12th years, and we very early on started actually in 2010 to hire our first 5 Palestinian employees, brought them for 3 months for cultural and technology training to Germany, and then started our office in Ramallah since 2011. We are roughly 100 employees and about between 40 and 50 employees in Palestine. What is exceptional in Palestine, that our women rate is above 30%, which is in IT business really not easy to achieve. But Palestinians have a lot of female engineers. Next slide, Jamil. So we have about 250 different customers, really from large enterprises, banks, across all different verticals, a lot in the classical German Mittelstand, which does not really very well translate to small and medium businesses, as some of these companies have 10 or 15,000 employees and are still a family business. Next slide. So we offer 3 pillars of services, the digitization and digitalization and custom software development, IT security and IT infrastructure services. And Jamil, the floor is yours. And Jamil is our head of our digitalization department, and he runs that across our locations of our across our 4 countries from Ramallah. So Jamil.
Thank you, Frank. Greetings, everyone. I'm really happy and glad to be in this webinar and really presenting the Palestinian High-Tech. As Frank mentioned, I'm leading multiple teams actually in Germany, Greece, and Palestine, and providing high-quality services for our customers all around the world. I will be focusing today on our services that we provide from Palestine and Ramallah office to our customers. We provide our customers with custom software development. We develop their products and web applications with OpenStack technologies, whether our customers needs a single developer or multiple teams to work with them in building their products. We will be their technical partner and really helping them in building their applications. We provide digitalization services also. We analyze the different business processes and activities for the customers. We provide them with suggestions for solutions for digitization in a way that bring value to their business, and all the implementation is done from Ramallah office. We have a team specialized in business intelligence. We collect all type of data that you have from different sources. We analyze it and process it in an intelligent way to provide an intelligent information for our customers that they can take business decisions on it based on real and accurate data. We provide services in quality assurance, whether it's in manual or in automated testing. We have also a team specialized in user experience, works with our customers from the first steps for creating customer journey in their applications and products, ensuring that their customers will have a great user experience and high conversion rate. We have a DevOps teams that provide automation services for the pipeline for the software processes. And then from Ramallah, we have also an end user support team that provide supports for our clients 24/7. We provide the support for the first level and second level for our customers in 4 different languages. We provide support in English, in German, in Greek, and also in Arabic. And we have team members here providing the services for our clients all over the world. In addition to our services, actually, we are developing also our intellectual property and product with PPM Touch, where we have released it last year for the market, and all the development is done from Ramallah office in Palestine with our application, where we focus in providing an easy language for business process management that have a good understanding between the different stakeholders from business side, technology, and business process experts. Also feedback from our customers. With PPM Touch, you can save up to 70% of your time and cost in modeling and documenting the business processes landscape for their companies. We are working with different markets and industries. We have customers in Germany, in Austria, in Switzerland, in UK, Singapore, in Canada. We work in different industries from transportation, railway unions, construction industry, insurance industries, and governmental sectors, and also with startups in providing the different services. And at the end, also, I would like to highlight, last year we launched and started Axos Academy in Palestine, where we are.
I hate to rush you, but we really.
It's yes, the last thing is, don't worry. So we launched Axos Academy last year, actually, and the first course we started in November due to Corona. But we are aiming with Axos Academy to train and prepare full stack developers, 6,000 actually within the next 3 to 5 years. We already have over 2,500 applications, very motivated developers who are working 6 days a week, 14 hours a day, and really getting highly qualified, where we have focused on equality and focus on interaction with international customers. Thank you all, and back to you, Yossi.
Thank you very, very much. Very inspiring, very nice. I must tell you that I'm really personally moved by all the encouragement messages on the chat. It's really very nice. And now, you know, Cecil B. DeMille, the big film producer in the United States, was once asked how you create a great movie. So he said, you start with an earthquake and then you build it towards the crescendo. So we finished the earthquake, and now we are moving to the crescendo of closing up the session by presenting to you 3 wonderful, talented, and really Israeli leaders who are very much involved in this whole thing. And I would like to invite Avi Nudelman to moderate the panel with Yoram Yacobi, who was until a few years ago the head of the Microsoft Development Center in Israel, who really leading a lot of efforts in this area, and Yadin Kaufman, who is an institute on its own merit, and he will tell you about what he is doing in order to affect what we see here. And then we will have, those who will survive this crescendo, we will have a chance to do a bit of Q&A. Frank, you can be proud again with what you and Jamil showed us. Avi, please take the lead.
Thank you, Yossi.
Thank you, Yossi, and hello, everyone. I've been involved in the Palestinian arena for 30 years, but only in the last 3 years, I've been working intensively with the Palestinian high-tech community in the West Bank and Gaza, within the BTI, of course, in order to help create jobs for Palestinian engineers in the regional and international markets. I was very happy to discover a young, hungry, and very potential high-tech industry in Palestine. Today, over 100 companies in and outside the region work with Palestinian high-tech companies and express great satisfaction. They employed over 1,000 Palestinian engineers, some outsourced and some directly employed within the West Bank and Gaza Strip. More than that, the Palestinian high-tech ultimately provide excellent services, as we heard before, a lot of talent and commitment, and all of this in a very attractive prices. I would like to share with you my personal feeling as part of our activities. Before the corona entered to our life, I used to take groups of representatives of multinational and other high-tech companies from the Israeli side, visits to Palestinian high-tech companies in Ramallah, in Nablus, by the way, ITG. We visit them before the corona, and in the new Palestinian city, Rarabi. Every time it was exciting to see the reaction of the guests in the face of the high-tech professionals level presented by the Palestinian companies, and especially to see the contact which developed between the guests and the Palestinian engineers, and how within minutes the ice broke, and it was impossible to know who was the engineer from Ramallah and who came from Tel Aviv. Two veterans, as Yossi said, people with extensive experience in the high-tech field are with me here. Yadin Kaufman, an entrepreneur who is very much involved with Palestinian high-tech, and Yoram Yacobi, the former CEO of Microsoft Development Center in Israel. Both together with Yossi and me are working intensively in order to support the Palestinian ecosystem. And I would like to approach to Yadin first. You've been involved, Yadin, for many years in the Palestinian high-tech arena, and especially in supporting the Palestinian innovation sector through the Sadara Investment Fund with your partner, Said Nashef, and as part of the program you established for Palestinian high-tech interns and a mentorship program for Palestinian startups. What can you tell us about your perspective and experience about the high-tech community and the Palestinian innovation?
First of all, I want to thank AIFL for making time for this important topic, and also to everyone who joined the call. I think it's very important, and it's important for people to get the messages that you've been hearing for the last hour. So, number one, you've heard already a lot about what's what the high-tech community in Palestine is. You've heard from the outsourcing sector. You've also heard a bit from the entrepreneurial sector. And I want to talk mainly about the entrepreneurial, the startup sector. You're probably all familiar with Israel's moniker as the startup nation. And the question is whether Palestine can develop something like its own startup nation. And I want to make a few comments about it. So first of all, the high-tech sector in Palestine is new, and it's still very small. As recently as, I'd say, 8 years ago, there were zero startups, zero Palestinian startups. There were a few people doing outsourcing. There was one government-affiliated incubator. There was really just about nothing almost nothing in the high-tech sector. And if you look at what the situation is today, there are several dozen startups that have gotten some kind of funding, not a lot in most cases, but some. You've got about 25 or even more accelerators, incubators, centers of excellence. You've got startup weekends. You've got ICEP that you heard David mention. So there is the beginnings of a technology ecosystem, but it's still very small. Second point is this activity, I believe, and I think you've seen it demonstrated, it has very big potential. And that, I come to that conclusion from two main points. Number one, you've got talented and motivated people. Every year, Palestine turns out about 2,000 university graduates who've studied some form of information, some aspect of information technology. By the way, about half of these 2,000 are women, which is a very high percentage, and you've heard several references to that. And these are people who really they're extremely motivated. They really have a passion and a drive to create something, to build something, to put Palestine on the map, to really help build their society, build their economy. Unfortunately, many of these people, these talented, motivated people, are unemployed. They come out of university and they have not had opportunity. And it's critical that we find ways to provide them with that opportunity. And also, the other factor behind the big potential is that there's a huge market opportunity now in the Middle East and North Africa, 400 million Arabic-speaking people, and they are demanding technology. And there's no reason that Ramallah, Nablus, other cities in Palestine shouldn't be suppliers of some of those solutions. Point number three, this is very important, okay? This is not just something nobody should care about. I want to share my screen for a second and explain why it's important. So you see here very briefly the two economies, Israel, Palestine. Israel is about double the population of Palestine, but it's about 25 times GDP, and it's about 14 times GDP per capita. Much higher growth rate in Israel, much lower unemployment, and this is not a healthy situation, certainly not for the Palestinians, but not for Israelis either. And the reason for that is this. This is the map of part of Israel, but including the West Bank. And I'm speaking to you from Ra'anana, where I live. You may know it. And you see here the line as the crow flies to Ramallah, it's 45 kilometers, about 28 miles. Obviously, what happens there affects everybody, certainly affects us in Israel. And it does Israel no good to have 2.5 million people in the West Bank, a couple million people in Gaza, largely unemployed, impoverished, hopeless. That's not a good situation for any of us in the region. So that's why it's important. And the last point I want to make is that it's isolated. Okay, and we'll maybe talk more about this, but the Palestinian tech sector, such as it is, as you heard, the people who are involved in it need connections to the outside world, and for the most part, they don't have it. Zero multinational companies have a shingle in the West Bank, and very few Palestinians who've gone on to work in the tech field outside have come back for a variety of reasons. So I'll stop there for now.
Thank you very much, Yadin. Yoram, as the CEO of Microsoft Development Center in Israel, you have initiated the employment of Palestinian engineers at the company in your time. Could you tell us how you heard about the Palestinian High-Tech and what made you choose to work with a Palestinian company?
Yes, thank you, Avi, and thanks everyone. First, there's two things. I mean, Yossi Vardi, whom you met in this call, introduced me in 2009 to Abdul Malik Jaber, who was running Paltel, the Palestinian telephone company at the time. And we sat together and we thought that we should have Microsoft R&D in Palestine. There are two reasons for that. One reason was it was already evident in 2009 that there will be a shortage of high-tech human resources or engineers in Israel, and Palestine, being such nearby to Israel, could be a great source for that. The second reason is, we believed at the time, and I still believe, that working together can bring the two people together. So back then in 2009, we created a vision for Microsoft in Palestine. I think that about 11 years later, I don't think we reached exactly the vision. The vision was to have an independent Microsoft R&D center in Palestine. We're not there yet, but we have for the last 11 years a team of about 20 Palestinian engineers working for Microsoft. And believe me, they work on the most core stuff that Microsoft does. This is not a team that does testing or things that are unimportant. This is a team that does the most important core stuff of what Microsoft does. I know most of the team. I mean, I haven't been at Microsoft the last 2 years, but I know most of the team. I hired some of them. It's a great team. Definitely the level that we expect at Microsoft for Microsoft engineers. Maybe the only problem is we just don't have enough of them yet. As you probably know, and maybe you'll see in a second when we talk about the future, the numbers of engineers in Palestine that can pass the bar of multinational companies like Microsoft or Google is not yet at the numbers of Israel. And this is obviously not for the lack of smarts. Palestinians are as smart as Israelis, or maybe even better, smarter. It's just a matter of time, education, and that's something we're working on.
And as a member of BTI, you initiated the establishment of a working group whose role is to help and strengthen the Palestinian ecosystem. So I will be happy if you can tell us, or tell the audience, about the nature of the activity based off the KPIs that you are now showing. Please.
Yeah, so you see, I even had the slide ready for that. BTI, which is the organization in which we work, about a year ago, actually end of 2019, with the help of the World Economic Forum and Mirek, who is on this call, and Yossi, we set together a bunch of Israelis and Palestinians, and we decided to create a list of KPIs. The acronym is Key Performance Indicators, for those of you who do not know, for the next 5 years for Palestine. In a way, we said, we know where we are today. We know that Palestinian is making progress in high-tech, but we want to see where we can be 5 years down the road. How exciting can it be 5 years down the road if we do the right things? And the picture we portrayed for 2024, which was 5 years from in 2019, was included 7 KPIs. One is, we said, at the time there were about 600 Palestinian engineers working for multinational companies. We wanted to triple the number 5 years later to 2,000. By the way, 1 year into the program, we already at about 1,000 Palestinian engineers working for high-tech companies. So we may possibly obliterate the number of 2,000. But that's a number we set back then. Back then, there were few multinational high-tech companies that were employing Palestinian engineers, either in an outsource model or directly. We said we want to have 100 multinational companies. Since then, we discovered more companies than we thought there are. There are about 30 companies today with more than 10 engineers, as you can see on the slide. And again, our target 4 years, we still have 4 years on the program. Our target in 4 years is to get to 100. And just think about, if you have 100 multinational companies in Palestine, if you have 2,000 more engineers, this is starting to become a high-tech hub. And that's a dream. KPI number 3 is about knowledge worker. I'm not going to go into all the detail. Knowledge worker are usually people who work with data. It could be accountants, it could be call centers, and we wanted to have at least 1,000 Palestinian knowledge workers working with international companies. Number 4 is talking about joint ventures. If the previous KPIs were about Palestinians working for multinational companies, number 4 is about working together on a joint project. So far, we have not made a lot of stride in the year the program is running towards finding such a joint project. And this is one of the areas in which we can use help from any one of the forums that want to create a Palestinian-Israeli joint venture in Palestine. Number 5 is about universities. I mentioned earlier that there are just not enough Palestinian engineers right now. And the level of university in Palestine is not yet at the level of the university in Israel, definitely not in computer science. If Israel has about 5 computer science departments in the first 100 in the world, Palestine is not there yet. So we want to help improve the quality of computer science in Palestinian university through visiting professors, joint research papers, and so on. Number 6 is about what Yadin was talking, that's about the startup ecosystem. Every successful ecosystem, it's not enough that you have an outsource that work for a company in Europe or the US. This is all great, and this is how Israel started. At the end of the day, you want to create your own startups, your own companies that will sell to the world, just like we do in Israel today. So we set ourselves KPI. We said we want to see in 5 years 5 Palestinian exits, RPOs, and at least 10 significant follow-on investment from foreign investors. And we have a pitch, the first ever pitch day of Palestinian startups to international investors next month on February 16th. Finally, we said we want to have 2 industry events in Palestine every year, and this is already ongoing. The last thing I want to mention is, BTI is a team of volunteers, and we are trying to make it because of the reasons that Yadin mentioned earlier. We are neighbors, we are just next to each other, and we want to work together. We could use any help from the forum. Help can be in terms of I want to have a joint venture with Palestinian company. I am a professor in university and I want to give a course or a lecture in a Palestinian university. It could be I want to be a mentor for a Palestinian startup. We can use help on any of these KPIs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yoram, and thank you very much, Yadin. Yossi, back to you. Yossi, you are on mute. Yossi, you are on mute.
Thank you, Avi, Yadin, and Yoram for your inspiring words. And now we go to our Q&A. Before that, I would like to re-emphasize what Yoram said. We cannot do it without you guys in the audience. We need you to come up with your ideas and opportunities to put software outsourcing orders, giving lectures, enhancing in any way you can what you heard today, which is an amazing, I think, and unique story. The opportunities are there, but we need more people to execute them. And now we are going to our question. Our first question is from our good friend, David Makovsky. Those of you who don't know David, is one of the leading geopolitical experts on what's going on in the region. And he asked that in light of the shortage of software workers in Israel, as you know, about 350 of the world leading companies, digital companies are having a foothold in Israel, which is 20 minutes away from the West Bank. And they acting and can act more as a big gateway and a segue to the Palestinian high-tech capacity. What can be done? I think Yoram practically answered the question which came before Yoram talk, but Yoram, if you want to say something specifically to David, this is your chance. You are mute.
I think we are on dire need in Israel and actually worldwide for engineers. We are undergoing what's called the digital transformation, which means that suddenly not only the high-tech companies are doing high-tech, but every company is doing high-tech. You're starting to see banks doing high-tech, car companies are doing high-tech. Every company in almost every vertical, every field is developing software and hardware, not just the Microsoft and Amazons of the world, in every field. Obviously, we do not have enough human resources, engineers to answer all these needs. So this is why it's such a great opportunity for Palestine to come in with engineers and serving not only high-tech companies, but serving high-tech roles in any company out there.
Yoram, what is your, very rough idea? How many engineers the multinational in Israel are now, and other companies in Israel are now outsourcing to countries like India and Ukraine?
I don't have exact numbers. I mean, you have to remember that most of the multinationals, we do not outsource to India because the company has offices in India. So it's not that we are outsourcing from Israel. But if you look at Microsoft has thousands of engineers in India.
And how many? I think that to Ukraine, Israel is outsourcing a few tens of thousands of engineers. The second question which I have is from Shmuel. What do you think of the possibility of building high-tech parks in Gaza and elsewhere in Palestine with the cooperation of Israel high-tech companies and government? I think this was also answered. In light of the time, I would like to thank everybody. I would like to ask the AIFL to post again the emails of all the panelists. Feel free to write to them, and I would like to invite Wayne to wrap up the meeting. So Wayne, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Yossi. We put up on the screen now, just as we're closing out, this has been a special episode for us at the American Israel Friendship League. We appreciate those of you that have stayed on with us beyond the hour. What a fascinating group of people coming together, starting the new year with not just talking about what can advance the region, but actually doing things, building relationships, building opportunities that we all are really grateful and supportive of. So I'll say to all the panelists who came together today, and especially to you, Yossi, for organizing this for us, Todah, Shukran, thank you, Dankeschön, in every language that's been represented, and the many more from people around the world who joined us today. We're in the business of making friends at the America-Israel Friendship League. We're grateful for these efforts, and we look forward and hope everyone has a healthy and happy new year. Come back and join us. We do these programs every Wednesday and Sunday at noon, and we look forward to the opportunity to build on this seminar in the future.